Malolele to one and all, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. It's time to say it with your chest. We learn in our homes to te leva, respect the relational space between ourselves and others. We live intergenerationally. We are family-oriented, or so they say. When ish hits the fan, do you feel safe to speak out? My question for our panelist today: is it okay to set boundaries in your Pacific Island family? Petmal, how about you? What are your thoughts? You grew up in Samoa, so what was your upbringing like?
There was no such thing as boundaries because we lived in one whale, no rooms or anything. We all lived under one roof and just a small umukuka on the side and the whale, the paper outside. It's either you alofa to everyone or get out of the house. It was that thing.
As a whawhawhine, do you feel like that hindered any boundaries that you wanted to set for yourself?
No, because I was little. I was young. I didn't, what boundaries do I have? You know what I mean? I was young. But now that I have makua now and know about these things, I can set those boundaries for myself and I can address what I want to say to my friend without, trying to beat around the bush and hide what I actually want to say.
Anatola, what are your thoughts?
I think boundaries for a lot of Pasifika people feel very Western. And I think it comes from the discomfort from when we talk about the self. And I think we often think that talking about the self doesn't align with our collectivist views. Self is in the word selfish, but it's also in the word selfless. And I think when we're able to really carry out what we want to be treated like or how we want to be treated and the boundaries that we know that we need to be able to do that and to survive and thrive.
With these boundaries, we always have to remember that our people are still healing from the brokenness of years and years ago, and with those boundaries, we have to be aware of those things as well.
You could say that's the case for domestic violence in homes because that is a cycle that starts from somewhere. While that is a sensitive topic, I think it's good to have these conversations about why it happens and how we can stop it, and setting boundaries is the way to do that.
Family violence, intimate partner violence.
Yeah.
It's such a huge problem, not only in our country, but around the whole world. And so it's what are we doing wrong? Oh, we're not talking to each other. We're not communicating with one another. And we're also not evolving our solutions. I think a huge solution is boundaries.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I hear from people it's respecting if they don't want to stay in a relationship, whether it's married, whether there's children. And I think for Pasifika, due to conservatism and Christianity, we've really harped on this idea that you have to stay in a relationship because that has a safe face. So all those things contribute to why there's so much trauma.
Yeah. For those who are out there away from their families, I'd say to them, I'd congratulate them on being able to set their own boundaries.
Who you love and who you love back, that's family. That's where its heart is. I always think about people who are going to celebrate you as well as be there when you fall. And so whoever that may be, that's family, that's connections. And so I'm I'm so with you on that.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because it's kind of taught to you at a young age, respect your elders. And so for me, I've kind of had a hard time adjusting to setting my own boundaries. What I even discuss with my parents in terms of things like, to be honest, my sexual life. And I feel like that is just off limits,
Right.
period. I don't talk to anyone about that except for my friends.
My family's very open.
Yeah.
They're very open-minded, and now they are. But growing up, they weren't. Yeah, we can get very heated with my family with conversations, and I love that
That's
we
so
can
cool.
do that now.
Yeah.
Because back then, you get a ibuki thrown at your head.
Is that dodgy?
I can't get it. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. While we are able to have these open and frank discussions with our own families, there are some, because there are no boundaries, that they hide parts of themselves and their views and their perspectives on things. What would be your advice to those people?
A method to try would be to put it onto paper. And I think that could also be quite cathartic and healing for you as well. I think you'll be able to have more clarity of what you want out of a conversation, but also what you hope the impact will look like from a conversation.